Well, there's been plenty of excitement in Cupertino, California today with Apple unveiling not one, not two, not three, but 4 different platforms for further engaging and charging money to its users. Yahoo Finance tech editor Dan Howley was at today's event. He's still there in Cupertino. Howley, what is your takeaway on what you were introduced today?
I think the biggest takeaway was, wow, Apple can really draw the big stars. I mean, taking stage, we had Oprah Winfrey, we had Steven Spielberg, J.J. Abrams, Jennifer Aniston, and Reese Witherspoon. They really wanted to pull out all the stops to basically say, we're very invested in this, and obviously spending $1 billion proves that they're invested in the service. I think one of the key things to look at is they really wanted to show us their original content, and that's really what's going to help distinguish them from others in the market like Netflix and Hulu. Remember, when you sign up for a Netflix subscription, yes, it's to binge, hours and hours of Friends reruns, but it's also to get access to those really great Netflix originals. And the same thing for Hulu. They have their great originals as well as Amazon. So they were really trying to pull out all the stops and say, this is what we're going to be offering. We're going to be providing really hard-hitting, excellent television and movies. We had Oprah announce that she's working on 2 documentaries. So obviously they're going heavy on the original content, and that's what we really wanted to see ahead of the event.
All right, so Howley, I think maybe we're jumping, as you're talking, I realize you maybe jumped a couple steps ahead here for some viewers. Can you just go through everything that Apple announced today and why it's different than what they previously had? Specifically, the TV product kind of just sounds like Apple TV, but I know that there are some changes there.
Yeah, so they had the Apple TV Plus. They have the new Apple TV app that's going to be revamped, and there's an Apple TV channels, which will let you basically have a one-stop shop for all of your different subscriptions that you have, so you won't have to dip out of different apps to go back and then watch something in another app. It's all going to be available on one standard service through Apple TV. Then they had obviously the Apple Card and the Apple Physical Card. They were talking about the daily cash back you'll get on the Apple Card. If you use it through Apple Pay, you'll get 3% cash back. And then if you use it, the physical card, it's a real physical card that they're going to be offering, which is kind of strange, but you'll get 1% cash back on that through your daily purchases. Then they had obviously the Apple Arcade gaming service, which is really interesting because they're going to be providing premium games. They won't need additional in-app purchases, things to get additional content or to help you win a game. These are going to be premium games from developers that really wouldn't be seen otherwise because their games cost money, and a lot of people just go for the free games. And I think, after that, the news service is big. There was a lot of grumbling in media about how much Apple is going to be charging that or splitting the revenue for that. There were rumors that it would be a 50-50 split, and we didn't hear anything about that. But Tim Cook, when he took the stage, basically said that he wants to help support journalism. So we'll see how that ends up shaking out and whether or not that revenue split indeed is 50-50 or not.
Howley, one thing that kind of stood out to me watching it was so many people want to know what's the Apple brand going to be, and you didn't really get that with sort of the hodgepodge of people that they brought out, from Big Bird to Oprah to Reese Witherspoon. You also had like the gaming and you had the news end, but in all of those they tried to string together that they will protect your privacy, that if you're a new subscriber, they're not going to track that and sell that to an advertiser. If you are using their credit card, they are not going to sell that data, that will also be private. Did you get a sense that they are continuing to make this big push to differentiate themselves from other people out there, and how did that sit with the crowd and people you're talking to?
Yeah, I mean, that was clearly something that they wanted to push the entire event. Every single announcement that they had, they said that they're not going to sell your data. They're going to keep it private. They're going to be doing processing on device. When they talked about the Apple Card, they said that not only will they not be selling your data, they won't even let Goldman Sachs use your data, and they're the ones who are backing the card. So that was, you're right, really the biggest theme that was running through this entire event. I think from the audience perspective, obviously people were very happy about that, considering that privacy has been at the forefront of everything you talk about in technology recently. I mean, you see just last week, Facebook had another issue where they were storing people's passwords on in an open format on their internal servers. It just feels like every time we turn around, there's more and more leaks or more breaches. So the fact that Apple puts privacy at the fore is very good for their brand, and it helps differentiate them from other tech companies, basically saying, look, we're not a part of that, the social media, we're not a part of giving away your data or selling it like Google or Amazon might be. We're our own beast, and we're going to rely on our services and for our hardware to speak for itself and not have to deal with using your data and losing it, and then in turn losing your trust. So that was really, you're right, one of the threads leading through the entire event.
All right, Dan Howley live in Cupertino.